The Pueblo Star-Journal presents Bree on a Budget. Bree on a Budget is a production of the Voices of Pueblo podcast. This episode, Tax Season Without the Stress, United Way's VITA program explained, was produced and narrated by Bree Pappan.
Good afternoon, Pueblo, and it's January 2026, and welcome to the New Year's edition of Bree on a Budget. This is Bree Pappan, and I'm really excited to have my guests in the studios here today, in the PSJ studios, Luanne Maes and Adrian Gomez from United Way. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to come back and be able to sit down and talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us, Bree. We're really excited to share all the fun tax tips.
I'm excited to hear them, and I'm sure our listeners are too. And Luanne, yeah, you are, I would say, a veteran now of the program. This is your third appearance. You have just been able to offer so much fantastic information to our listeners. We've had so much feedback from your appearances and just the things that United Way is able to help in our community. It's fantastic. So I am always excited to have United Way in the studio. I wanted to just start off. So this program is going to be about tax time. It's tax time. It's start to think about that. We're going to take a whole health approach to finances this year. I know that for myself, financial stressors are sometimes overwhelming and they can have physical implications. And when I don't feel like I have my finances under control, it affects the rest of my life. Going into the new year, I think people always try to approach different things. This is a new year. I'm going to take a new approach. I'm going to try to have a fresh start. I'm going to get ahead of my finances. I'm going to get ahead of my household things. I'm going to get ahead of all the things that come a few months from now or come mid-year. I don't want to say to myself, I wish I had thought about this thing in January because now it's out of control. I really want to get help with my finances. And a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe there's a single income in the household, tax time is a very important time for a lot of people because they rely on that refund if they are getting one. It helps to go back into the household income, especially because maybe they are experiencing less income. Maybe there is a shortage of income. Maybe they had a hiccup back in September, October, and they had to borrow money for whatever reason, for resources or for food emergency or for whatever the emergency or reason was for the previous year to try to make up for that. They may be experiencing a shortage. So tax time is an important time. And it doesn't have to be stressful either. People are intimidated by doing taxes for themselves. But it's empowering. It can be empowering. And that is what this month for me is about. Through everything that I'm trying to relate, it's time to empower yourself with the information, with the resources, with knowledge, with going and doing things for yourself, because it really puts things in perspective. So, Luanne Maes, you're the Economic Mobility and Opportunity Manager at United Way. Tell me a little bit about your role with the VITA tax program.
Okay. Well, I oversee three financial programs. The Bank On program, which helps folks get into safe, affordable banking. We link them up with banks that offer no overdraft fees, no minimum balance fees. There's a list of benefits that are on our website. So we love to help with that. We have our FEC, which is our Financial Empowerment Center. That's where we offer the one-on-one coaching to help you get that budget in line no matter what it is and help meet the goals that you have for this year. So many times in January, we make our financial goals like you were talking about. We help get to those goals. And you are absolutely right. When you are financially stressed, it affects your mental health, it affects your physical health, and we really try to help ease that stress. And through our VITA program, we help take that intimidation of taxes away. We prepare and file your taxes for free if you are in a household that makes $69,000 or less. And if you're not computer savvy, that's where we can also help, because we have some folks that are like, I know there's this program out there, but I can't. I don't know how to navigate. We will help navigate for you.
Okay. And Adrian Gomez, the Financial Wellness Coordinator at United Way, I understand that you are truly the boots on the ground individual and knowledge hub of the VITA program. Can you tell me, I'm interested, how long has the VITA program been at United Way, and how long have they been offering it in Pueblo County?
Yeah, so the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program has been in Pueblo for 19 years.
Wow.
So starting this month will be our big celebration of 20 years in Pueblo. And we have a handful of volunteers that have been with the program since the inception. So since the county commissioners back almost 20 years ago brought the program to Pueblo, and they got trained up, they got certified, and that core group of those volunteers have worked relentlessly on staying up to date with all the tax law and tax code and all the credits. And now they are with us teaching the younger generation all the ins and outs and how to file that. I think back then they were probably filing the 1040 paper form of tax returns. Mm-hmm. And so now we do e-filing, and it's all on the computer using the software TaxSlayer. And it's really exciting to see that, tax law and tax code does change and allows for Coloradans and all of us in the United States to take advantage of those tax benefits. The child tax credit, the earned income tax credit, the family affordability tax credit, all the different credits that are out there for Puebloans and for Coloradans to take advantage of. But 20 years, we're really excited to be.
That's a phenomenal milestone. That's really fantastic, especially in this community.
Yeah, we're going to have it blasted on all of our social media and our rack cards. So, but yeah, 20 years, we're really excited to get it going. And we have another wonderful team coming back this year to do the same kind of work that we've done in years past.
Is your volunteer group are they former tax preparation people? Are they tax accountants, or do they have a background in tax preparation?
So many of them have the background of maybe an accountant, or maybe they were an educator, or they worked in human resources in the agency or the organization that they came from. Some of them are clerical, or maybe they were working at a reception job. And so now we have a couple of different positions with our volunteer group. Some of them do the intake and interview position. So they make sure you're prepared. You have your social security card, your photo identification, your W-2s or your 1099s. They make sure you have the correct year, because sometimes you get those in the mail and you stuff them right next to the 2024 or 23 documents. So we make sure you're organized, you have the appropriate information, you're eligible for the program, and you're ready to take advantage of our program. And we also have our preparers. So they're the ones that get in and make sure you take advantage of all of those different credits that you're eligible for. Make sure, that you're within all of your rights and within the law to file and get the credits that you're eligible for. And once they prepare your beautiful return for you, they put you over to our quality review team, which double checks and makes sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and all the numbers are in the right order. And that we're staying within our scope, from beginning to end. So we have, some who are very well versed in tax law and they're coming from an accounting background. But then you also have people who just want to help other people. And, we are able to give them the resources, and they go to the IRS website. They can learn all about the different tax codes and the tax law. There's separate resources for state credits and stuff that they're eligible for. So we do an intensive, training with the IRS to become advanced certified. And then, of course, each person in their respective role. So whether they're doing intake and interview, prep, or quality review, along with our site coordinators. So our site coordinator really has to know all of those different roles And also, they have to know when to transmit your return to the IRS and to make sure that it's done in a timely fashion and that all of those other volunteers are certified and up to date on all of their education, which, can be quite a bit of a program. But we have some volunteers that are coming back for their second year this year who were brand new, and maybe they were a little scared at first to volunteer. They weren't sure they had the right knowledge or the skill set, but we found out, we're able to give them some of the resources where they can learn that, and then pairing them up with some of our veteran teammates. So if you are right next to somebody who's been doing this for 19 years and you can ask a question, if you can study with them and, learn the material, it makes it that much more able for that person to learn and to be able to do this.
Accessible.
I
think that's. So that is, needless to say, an in-depth protocol that you have established over this period, 20-year period. And I think that is a reliable resource that people can go to, and they know that when they leave after having their taxes prepared for them, peace of mind. It's done. I just e-filed. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to get either a check in the mail or it's going to be deposited into my account. It's going to be there. And honestly, it's fast. It is very fast, faster than you would expect. So I also understand that at the core of the VITA program and the process and the program that runs along. Now, this is offered for what's the time frame?
Yeah, so the IRS is launching the tax, basically the day that they start accepting these returns on January 26th.
Okay.
We've aligned our schedule to start on the same day. Sometimes we're
Makes
lucky
sense.
that way. Yeah, this year we got right on the button, we predicted. And it goes all the way through to April 15th. Which
is tax day, basically.
Yep, which is tax day. So it's a big celebration. Okay. I would encourage, folks to do their best to make sure they get it in before tax day, just because you never know if appointment spots are going to run out. But you also don't know if there's going to be a delay in the acceptance of the return from the IRS.
Okay.
Just because we file it on the 15th doesn't always mean that they're ready to receive it on the 15th.
And
you don't want to be, and you don't want to be behind the deadline. But just to go back to what you were saying just a moment ago about the proficiency of the program and the accuracy and the speed, we can, especially in January, February, March, we can get a return done. And as long as the federal government and the state government are on time, you can expect to get that within 4 to 6 weeks, which is pretty quick. If there happens to be a federal delay or a state delay, we've seen returns get delayed for a couple of months. But that usually happens if you're filing pretty late in the season or, like I said, if the federal government or the state government have big delays.
Okay. Another thing that was really attractive for me when I was reading about this program and the history was that you work alongside AmeriCorps group. And that is a youth group. Now, it's age 18 to 24. Is that correct?
18 to 26, yeah.
26. And that gives them an opportunity to volunteer, to immerse themselves in community volunteerism. And so how long have you been working with AmeriCorps?
Yeah. So this is going on United Way's 4th year with AmeriCorps, I believe. And it'll be my 3rd year personally with working alongside AmeriCorps. And some people will say they're like the Peace Corps. NCCC AmeriCorps, I encourage you guys to look this up. NCCC AmeriCorps, the work that they do could be anything from trail building to deconstruction and reconstruction of a barn, all the way to tax filing. So they do so many different projects, all for the benefit of the community that they're serving in. And they're, young people from 18 to 26 from all over the country. We've had folks from Philadelphia, from California, Florida, New York.
And is this
Virginia.
affiliated with an educational organization, or is it simply a civilian volunteer organization or movement?
Yeah, so more of a community civilian-based organization. And like I said, they work on all kinds.
That might be the wrong word, civilian. I'm not sure. But just it's not affiliated with an educational institution.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But yeah, they come from all over the place. And the really impressive part of AmeriCorps is in the time that they come to Pueblo, so early January, to the time that the tax season opens, which is the end of January, they go through an in-depth, very comprehensive training of all the tax law. And imagine an 18-year-old, digging through
overwhelmed.
400,
they haven't even maybe filed their own taxes yet. I don't know.
Right. This may be their first year filing taxes.
Mom and dad are filing them for them.
And they do go through a 400-page document called the 4012, which gets amended at the end of January, and they republish at the 4012A. So they have to learn all of these numbers and the qualifying factors, and then some of it slightly changes, and then it gets republished at the end of January to launch into our season. On top of that, this year we have the One Big Beautiful bill that is throwing in curveballs with overtime and Social Security.
We'll talk more about that after the break, but yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are still changing as we're learning in this early part of January. So it's very impressive, though. They come to Pueblo, they learn about Pueblo, they learn about tax law, and then as soon as they get certified as an advanced preparer, we start our tax season, and we serve about 4,000 Puebloans.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just impressed with the work ethic and their ability to learn and adapt and to work with Pueblo community, and to just learn the people and hear them talk and speak with them and tell them where they're from and what their work history is. It's really exciting. It's
very personable. So I think that really helps probably relax the person that came in to have their taxes done, and it really puts them at ease for a more personalized experience.
Yeah,
I would expect.
So that, coupled with our veterans, we have people in our program that have been doing this for almost 20 years. And when we get audited by the IRS, they look at all of our stuff from our tax software. So they're able to pull up the number of rejections that we have and the error codes. On top of that, they come in person and do an audit and make sure that we're doing everything up to code. And in the nation, the error rate that an accountant can have, like a tax preparer can have, and this is inside of VITA and outside. So H&R Block, Liberty Tax, whatever these other big organizations or sometimes individual tax preparers are, the average error rate is 10% nationwide. Our local United Way Pueblo County VITA program operates at an error rate of 4%.
Wow.
So we are not only personable.
If that hasn't convinced you to go through the VITA program, then you won me over.
Yeah. So we're not only personable and connect with you on a real level, but we also keep it very professional and proficient.
Yeah. Also, there's currently another organization that's in some big box stores right now in the corner. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go sit down and in the middle of a big box store and have somebody prepare my taxes. That's too much information for me to put out there publicly. It's like, I don't feel so, I feel inhibited, to do it that way. And I will say that I have participated in the VITA programs for several years, and every single year it's, there is a tiny bit of stress that you have going into it even if you are a repeat customer for VITA, just because it's like, I have to make sure I have all my documents and stuff. But once you go in and you are waiting and you sometimes have a nice conversation with the person next to you and you have a really nice exchange with the people that are working, you leave and it's like, okay, whoosh, done. That's check mark. That's a big one off my list. I know that there are several locations in Pueblo that will be offering the VITA tax service. Can one of you tell me where those locations are going to be this year?
Yes, and we
Adrian.
have had wonderful partners in years past and going into this year. So I do want to make sure that we just verbally thank all of our locations. So big thank you to anyone who's ever participated in VITA Pueblo. But this year we are going to be starting on Mondays at Barkman Library, on Tuesdays at Rawlings Library, on Wednesdays at Lucero Library, Thursdays at Minnequa Works Credit Union, Fridays at Pueblo West Library, and then we have 5 different Saturdays that we're going to be serving, and they're kind of in different locations on different dates, but Jidone Library out in the Mesa, Greenhorn Library out in Colorado City. We're going to be in Trinidad and La Junta.
Wow.
And
okay.
we're also going to be at Pleasant View on
Now,
one
that's
of our
an extension
Saturdays.
beyond Pueblo County, but even though you're going down into outside of Pueblo County, would that not cross over into, was it Los Animas County?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different VITA programs that operate in Colorado Springs and in Canyon City and some of the surrounding areas, but none of the other VITA programs operate in La Junta or Trinidad.
Okay.
And United Way Pueblo County does serve several counties outside of Pueblo County, and so we're definitely within our operating realm. But we decided to expand just a little bit because we have had clients come in from Trinidad all the way to some of our Pueblo locations.
So I think there's like 10 to 12,000 residents in Trinidad County or Los Animas County. And I would say probably half come to Pueblo often to do business or do whatever.
Shopping, medical, all of those things. And so we definitely want to meet some of them where they're at. Just like we do in Pueblo. So we're strategically placed throughout Pueblo in areas that give our volunteers enough space, but our clients the privacy that they need and want when they're filing their taxes, but also in those, moderate to low income areas where travel may be an issue so that they can go right there to their local library or to their local credit union where they can, get these things taken care of.
Perfect. Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor. But when we come back, I want to talk about things like, the great big beautiful bill and some other tax laws that are new for 2026 and some new changes to the parameters of where we're measuring household income and such. So we'll be right back in just one second.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chaffa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chaffa is an equal housing lender.
Okay, we're back with Luanne Maes and Adrian Gomez from United Way, and we're talking about new year, new fitness for your wallet, and of course the VITA tax program, which is going to be starting up their 20th year in 2026, which is a phenomenal milestone. Now, Adrian, you talked about how we are going to be working in the great big beautiful bill into how we align our taxes. Along with that and some of the other tax implications that are new for 2026, can you lay out or summarize some of those that we will be looking at when we do our returns?
Yeah, so I'm going to speak very vaguely and general on these because a lot of them are changing as fast as the color of my hair.
As we're sitting here.
Silver in some spaces because of taxes. But the one big beautiful bill, changes some of the things that we're looking at. For most of the people in Pueblo and most of the people who qualify for VITA, it's not going to be a huge headache, which is good news for all of you. But for some of you who have worked overtime, there's going to be, a specific box on your W-2 that you're going to be looking at, and that needs to indicate that you have worked overtime, and it needs to indicate to us when we're filling out in the TaxSlayer software that has been overtime that will qualify for the one big beautiful bill. So without getting into too many of the specifics, if you have worked overtime, there's going to be some benefit. There's not going to be like a huge tax credit on every single hour of overtime that you've worked, and it's not going to go to a high dollar amount, but there will be some benefit for that. Okay. Along with the overtime, there is other tax credit benefits on tips. And the same thing. It's not going to be on every single dollar that you earn for tips. It's not going to be unlimited, but there will be some benefit for that, as well as Social Security income, taxable income, stuff like that. So without getting into too much of the weeds, there's documents and threads on Reddit and forums.
Can people either contact United Way or contact you directly if they have questions about if these are going to impact them we will insert all the contact information at the end of the program today. But is that something that people can call in prior to them setting their VITA appointment if they have questions about any new tax implications?
Yeah, this is a great question. So the best way to handle all of the new big beautiful bill questions is to bring your tax information to your tax preparer. They are the brain behind the operation on making sure you are eligible for all of these credits and that you get everything that you are eligible for. But we will have some supplemental resources listed on our website that are specific to overtime and tips and all of these fun things.
Which a lot of people may have done in Pueblo, because if we're talking about a predominantly blue-collar working town, that is definitely going to be effective in that realm.
Yeah. Now, if you work so many overtime hours that now you're making more than $69,000 of annual household income, you won't qualify for our program. But yeah, if you worked a little bit of overtime and you're still under the $69,000 income cap for our program, there's absolutely going to be a benefit. It may not be, several $1,000s that you're going to be getting in a tax credit or a refund, but it will be a little bit of help.
Now, what about things like the child tax credit? And am I correct in seeing that there are some changes in the parameters or changes in those numbers for 26 in terms of the amount of money that you can write off, or the amount of money that has increased on a child tax credit?
So in general, if you make less than $400,000 as married filing jointly, you will get the full credit for the child tax credit. And if the child is under 6, that's going to be the highest amount of child tax credit that you can get.
Okay.
I want to say the number's at $2,200. And as the child gets older, so there's like a lower amount from 6 to 16.
I'm just thinking last year it was $2,000. Maybe this year it's $2,200. Does that sound
I believe
accurate?
it's $2,200 this year.
Okay.
Yeah. And so from 6 to 16, that number goes down, and then above 16 to 19, it starts, I think it's down to like 500. So, but yes, if you make less than $400,000 as a married couple and you have children, especially under the ages of 16, you'll get those full amounts. If you're making more than that income, the credits are less. And then of course, if your children are older than that, then you're getting less of that
Now,
credit.
also something that may be relevant to the Pueblo community. If you have a child that is in college, university, and they receive financial aid, what kind of paperwork do you need to bring in for your child? Maybe your child is not living in the home, or maybe they are out of state and they received financial aid. That's something that goes through your household, because the financial aid is measured against your income from a couple of years ago when you fill out the FAFSA, for example. So how does that work into, will that work into just the child's income, or will that work into the household income?
Yeah, so if the student...
I don't know to give you a trick question there.
There's a lot of questions there, and I'll try to keep it simple, but if you're younger than 24 and you're in college, there's definitely some reason why your parents should still be filing with you as a dependent.
Right.
And I believe it's a 1098T or a 1099T that you get from the university. And the two numbers you want to pay attention to are how much tuition you paid, and then how much money you're getting in scholarships and that sort of thing. So depending on a lot of variables. Not necessarily
loans or...
Right.
But outright free money.
Depending on the tuition and some of the free money. But usually, it kind of depends on how much you're paying and how much you're getting. But there's a lot of variables there, so that's a loaded question. But there is the American Opportunity Credit and another one that I'm drawing a blank on. There's two of them. And usually if you qualify for one, you don't qualify for the other. But there's definitely reason.
That's the first time I've heard the American Opportunity Credit. Is that something new, or just something that is not explored very often? I don't know.
Yeah, it may not have been explained to you in the past. But yes, we get it a lot of times where, a parent comes in with their child and they're still in college, and maybe they've never gotten it before. They may have gone to another big box tax prep. And as long as they're eligible, which there are several questions and a lot of variables that go into it, but once you get through the checkoff list to see if they're eligible, it is a good chunk of possible.
Very good.
Refund.
All right. Luanne, you're usually doing a lot of talking in our previous programs. I'm just kidding. But Adrian, you are obviously the wealth and body of knowledge in the VITA program. And I'm so glad you've expounded on all of the things that may be concerning our listeners. I wanted to so let's kind of go over how people can go through the process of making an appointment for VITA.
Yeah. So this year, the best way to get your appointment scheduled is to go online. We have a great acuity scheduler on our website that allows you to go online and you can schedule your own appointment right then and there. If you don't have all of your tax documents ready with you at the end of January, but you plan on having them, let's say mid-February to the end of February, the nice thing about it is you can go on there and schedule an appointment a couple weeks out. So pueblounitedway.org/VITA, VITA, is the website that will be launching our opening date for scheduling on January 26th. Okay. So anytime after January 26th, you can go online and schedule on our acuity calendar. It's wonderful. It will send you a confirmation email and let you know exactly when and what time to show up and which location. If you're not tech savvy and you don't feel like going online to schedule an appointment, our wonderful partners over at the Senior Resource Development Agency,
SRDA,
the SRDA, with their 211 hotline, you can call and they will take care of you. So,
wow, okay, great.
Yeah, and it's really nice because you just let them know, hey, I make less than $69,000 per year. I want to take advantage of the VITA free tax filing program. I'm calling 211, and they will help you do all of the other part of the online platform part that sometimes is a little, scary for people to operate. But if you don't want to go online, 211 is a great option.
Now, also, is there a list of a checkmark list of the things that you will need to bring with you when you are coming to your tax appointment?
Yes. And just like a fingerprint, every person's checklist is going to be different. So you may have one or two jobs that you work at and you have a child that goes to college. So your return is going to be different from my return. Let's say I have one job, but I have 4 children. So everybody, their checklist of their items and what they need to bring is going to be slightly different.
Will be unique to them.
From one person to the next. But just in general, the things that you want to bring to prepare for taxes, and I have this list printed out with me. So some of the most,
it might be a lot and you forget.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things and everybody has a different situation,
Sure.
But your government issued ID, so your photo ID, current and non-expired.
Got it.
For every person that is listed as a taxpayer, or if it's a taxpayer and their spouse, then it would be for both of them. Now, obviously, if you have dependents, if you have children, they're not going to need to bring in their photo ID because they don't have one.
Right.
But they still do have to bring in their social security number.
Okay.
So the next item list is social security number for everyone on the tax return. And it has to be the card.
The card is necessary.
Yeah, it can't be written down on a piece of scratch paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could it be a photocopy?
I want to say that we've done original documents only.
Okay.
Yeah. So the third thing is a filled out intake form. And this is available on our website in the same page that we do for our scheduling. If you don't bring in a filled out intake form, we have intake forms with our team that you can fill out. It does save you a little bit of time if you print it out ahead of time.
Oftentimes people can fill them out while they're waiting.
They can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you show up early, you can fill it out while you're waiting. The fourth thing on our list is your IP PIN. And not everyone is required to have an IP PIN. You may have just been hearing about this for the first time from me, but it is required for anyone on the tax return who has received an IP PIN from the IRS in the past. And it's usually associated with some kind of fraud instance. So if somebody has stolen your identity or if they filed a tax return,
so not everybody will have
falsely,
one.
yes, then it will be provided. And so every year, if you have been issued an IP PIN, every year you'll need a new IP PIN that's issued to you from the IRS.
If you've ever gotten one before, you will always have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they send you a new one every year. So
understand.
if you
Okay.
come to file taxes now in 2026 for 2025, you can't use your IP PIN from 2024.
Okay.
It's going to be an updated one. Yeah. And then it's very helpful to have your recent year federal tax return. So if you filed taxes with us last year, bring that in too. A couple of reasons why it helps out is if there's a certain credit that you think you're eligible for and you have it on your return from last year, it's really nice for some of our tax preparers to see that and to make sure that you're taking advantage of that again. But several different reasons, it's really nice to bring that in.
Okay.
But then this will definitely be applicable anyone who has earned income from any source. So if you have your wages, you're going to be receiving a W-2. If you have any income that comes from unemployment compensation, you may be getting a 1099. There may be income that you earn in a savings account in the form of interest or a dividend. So you'd be getting that from your bank or from your credit union.
Okay.
And that's a 1099 INT or a 1099 DIV, dividend
Which is
and
different than a
interest,
1099 independent contract.
which is different than a 1099. When you get that from an independent contractor, it's like an NEC or a K. So any of those would be great. A 1099R. So if you have income from retirement, an IRA, an annuity, pension, any of those things, a 1099R. If you receive Social Security income, then you're going to need that SSA 1099.
I know that last year, Social Security income recipients, no matter what kind of Social Security income it was, they were only doing it online. Like you were asked to print off your online return, or like your end of year statement, how you usually get in the mail. This year, they've come in the mail. I don't know why they went back to all electronic. That was so, I just remember some people were like, I can't access this because I forgot my password. I can't get on the IRS, blah, 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 or the Social Security website. It's just so, but this year they have sent them. So that's good to know. They do just a little pull out.
We've seen the Social Security benefits statement both online and in the mail.
Yes.
It's more likely that we see it in the mail most years. And we always say it's the one with the pink boxes. So if you have your Social Security benefits statement, that will work perfectly. If it gets sent from the Social Security office and it has a pink box, that's as good as gold.
Yes.
If you have a Social Security document that shows that you're getting a pay increase or a change in pay, that sort of thing, that usually will not work just because it doesn't have the total number at the end of the year that shows the exact amount that you were paid out. I think they come
separately. You get you get the first, and then you get the other.
Yeah. So I always say if it's a Social Security benefit statement with the pink box, that's as good as gold. That's the one that we want.
Okay.
But you have a bunch of other different kind of 1099s that you can have income from royalties, from healthcare payments. You can get them from driving Uber. A bunch of different things that you could have 1099s for, but any form of income that you have, make sure you bring those in. And then, of course, we talked about tips and overtime. So if you work with your HR department as you're getting your W-2, just to make sure that your tips and income are reported accurately on your W-2, it's going to be really helpful. If you bring a W-2 to us that may need to be changed because those aren't on there, it's going to delay the process for you to file because you'll have to go back to your HR department, request that the changes to your tips and overtime are placed in the correct boxes. And like I said, with the One Big Beautiful Bill, there are currently HR departments that are hustling to try to make sure that they meet the requirements for this because they also didn't know what the changes would have as far as impacts on taxes. So it's just nice to take a look at these before you bring them in. Open the mail. Don't leave your W-2 in the envelope that it came in as you're coming into your tax appointment, but open it up ahead of time and double check to make sure that all of those things are accurate as you're bringing them in.
Okay. So, in closing, from both of you, I would like to know, what is your best advice for an individual that may be trying VITA for the first time?
That is great, and I did want to emphasize a few things We are a volunteer-led program, so we try our hardest to offer the best customer service we can. So we do have a few parameters that we ask, that folks follow so that everyone can have an enjoyable experience.
Absolutely.
Please make an appointment. We aren't accepting walk-ins, and it truly hurts our heart when we have to tell people, that we can't take them because we have appointments, and
Sure.
we don't want to delay anybody that's made an appointment. They have to make under the threshold of $69,000 per household.
Okay.
They must make an appointment through 211 or on our website. As much as we would love, Adrian and I, to be able to take everyone's calls, us being on the VITA sites and trying to offer the best face-to-face customer service, we are unable to take calls during that time. So we encourage people, please call 211 or make your appointment online. Give the IRS some grace. We've had folks that have filed on Friday, and on Monday they're like, where's my refund?
Oh, my. Okay.
So give the IRS some grace and allow, 4 to 6 weeks for your return to come in. If you get an email from us or a call from us that there is a problem or a rejection, please only email us back so that we can get it straightened out for you in a good amount of time. Please bring your Social Security card, your ID, because that, again, is heartbreaking to tell people, I know you have an appointment, but you have to have this.
Right.
And we do that, too, because the IRS, at any time, if we don't follow their rules, can pull the program.
Or, that goes into your audit program. If you're
Yes.
audited and these are, repeat issues, then that could lead to something else. Yeah.
But the wonderful thing is the impact that we make every year. Last year, we were able to file 4,165 returns.
Right. That's amazing.
Yes, and put $3.8 million back into the community.
That's an
through
incredible
refunds.
number. That is an
Yes.
incredible number. I think I did a little due diligence homework, and I did look up some statistics for VITA comparisons from the last couple years, and the amount of people that you've helped and the amount of money that has gone back into the community and into pockets has increased each year. So that is just definitely a positive impact.
Yes.
Absolutely, for individuals in Pueblo.
We love our community,
And I think people appreciate this service and this resource that is available to them because it's really taking the difficulty and stress and the anticipation and anxiety that goes with tax preparation or just dealing with finances in general away or off the table for many. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you have a highly detailed, complicated household or you're both retired and on Social Security. It could be from A to Z. It's met with the same fortitude of the workers, the volunteers at VITA, and everybody is treated the same no matter what. And I agree.
Yes.
It's a wonderful program, and I think we're so fortunate to have it in Pueblo. And so, Adrian, what do you think is what would be your number one piece of advice for somebody that wants to try VITA this for the first time?
Yeah, so my advice to anyone wanting to try VITA for the very first time is to get online in late January, early February, book an appointment. Get yourself scheduled with us. Look forward to meeting Grizzly 6, our AmeriCorps team that is diligently preparing as we speak to become your tax preparers, and our veteran preparers that have been doing this for almost 20 years. Secondly, be prepared. Open your tax documents, put them in order, make sure you have all of the things that you're required to have with you, and then really enjoy it. We are a great, personable group that really emphasizes how professional we are, and we want to be as accurate as possible and get you all of the credits that you're eligible for. So look forward to getting every penny that you earn and are deserving If you do have a tax liability and you're going to be owing the IRS some money, which shouldn't be a surprise to you, but if you are, definitely expect that we're going to do our very best to make sure that it's as painless as possible. We will help you, set up a direct payment and or help you get the information to help you make your payment by April 15th so that you can avoid any of the late penalties and the interest and all of that fun stuff. So, but yeah, get online, schedule your appointment, and be prepared.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anything else, Luanne?
Also, if you would like to volunteer in the VITA program, we would love to have you. Please reach out to VITA at United Way, at pueblounitedway.org, and let us know your interest, because we would love to have you, and it's a great experience with a great bunch of people.
And we will have all of the website information, the directional information that you all spoke about during the program underneath the program when we have when we launch the podcast online. We will have all of that written. It, of course, will be in the program, but we will have that in writing underneath the podcast as well for you to look at. And we will also be reprinting it or distributing it in the digital issue, which comes out on Friday, the 16th. And we will have all of the recap of all the information in there again. And we will continue to have United Way Pueblo VITA logo and information in the printed PSJ from now until April. So anybody that picks up the PSJ or reads it online will be able to have access to that information. So Adrian and Luanne, I want to thank you both so very much for being here in the studio today. An immense amount of information, not overwhelming, just incredibly huge resources, and just I feel informed. Let me just say that. I want to thank you both again for being here today. And this has been Bree on a Budget. I'm Bree Pappan, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Receiving down payment assistance from CHFA allowed us to expand our options for what kind of houses we were looking at.
CHFA is Colorado's trusted partner for homeownership. Visit chfainfo.com/yourhome. CHFA is an equal housing lender.
You've been listening to Bree on a Budget, a production of the Voices of Pueblo podcast, presented by the Pueblo Star-Journal. This episode, Tax Season Without the Stress, United Way's VITA program explained, was produced and narrated by Bree Pappan. To learn more and to support nonprofit local news in Pueblo, Colorado, visit pueblostarjournal.org. Thank you for listening.